Good afternoon, everyone. Today's webinar, Marketing for Prom Season, is scheduled to begin soon. We're going to wait just a few more minutes to allow other registrants to log on and get settled. Before we get started, just a quick housekeeping note. If you can hear my voice and see my screen, please raise your hand. If you're having any trouble hearing or seeing me, please let us know in the Questions tab in your GoToWebinar control panel.
Is that a raised hand?
My name is Michaela. I'm the account coordinator for Floriology's digital marketing program. My co-presenter today is Megan Dukes. We know your time is valuable, so we are scheduled to go for about 30 minutes of presentation and 10 minutes for Q&A. There's always a lot of activity at the Floriology Institute, so I hope you are following us on Facebook and are visiting FloriologyInstitute.com for the latest news and blog posts on a wide range of topics. For information on our upcoming courses, schedule, and webinars, visit FloriologyInstitute.com/register. Just a quick housekeeping note, if you have any questions throughout the broadcast, please type them in the Questions tab in your GoToWebinar control panel. Thank you for the patience. The webinar will begin shortly. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're happy to present today's webinar, Marketing for Prom Season. I'm Michaela Hills, the Account Coordinator at the Floriology Digital Marketing Program. My co-presenter today is Megan Dukes.
Hi.
With that, let's get started. So today we're going to be discussing marketing for the prom season. All right. First, we want to shift and let you know that your audience will be shifting during prom season. You're going to want to target teenagers mostly, but don't forget that a lot of them do have their parents doing the details for prom for them. You also have teachers who are helping students, or even the school districts getting involved in trying to help students be prepared for prom night. All right.
I don't know. So the first thing that we want to target is your reviews. So we want to, through your reviews, to encourage prom customers to leave a review. So the people that you already have come in, if they're talking your shop up, then obviously that's going to help with people trying to find somewhere to go to get their flowers for prom.
Right. And you also want to add prom photos or prom theme posts to your Google and Yelp business listings. So instead of simply posting on your social media accounts, don't be shy and forget to post to your Google and Yelp listings, because a lot of people are going to be checking out your listings for reviews and to see whether they want to do business with your shop. So it's important for you to be active on those platforms and to really make sure that you're reaching out to those potential customers.
Right. So obviously Google uses Google and Siri uses Yelp. So even those like voice activated, where can I find flowers for prom? So if you're on there and you're engaged on there, that's going to pop up.
Yeah. Plus you automatically start ranking a little bit higher the more active you are on those listings, which is huge for the floral industry.
Yeah.
In addition, don't forget to check your inboxes on those social platforms. A lot of people ask common questions, but it's easy to forget to check and follow up on those inquiries.
And like with that, as long as you're keeping up with it, then that kind of boosts people, makes them want to leave you those reviews. And you can also have some people even be reviewing you before they ever even buy a product from you, if you are engaged with them and if you respond to them in like a timely manner.
And this is an excellent way to start building future clientele, is with the younger generation through prom. If people feel comfortable and have a good experience with your shop, they're likely to come back down the line. Also, don't forget to respond to every review that someone does send you. You want to show that you're active and that you care what your customers are saying about your shop. All right, we're going to shift now to SEO strategy. One of the most common strategies to include, especially around prom season, would be to create and post prom-themed blogs. And really, each of these blogs should answer common questions, as in, what kind of flowers do I get to match my prom dress, or anything really along those lines.
Right. And you could even have blogs that have nothing to do with flowers on your page. So 10 best promposals and stuff like that. Just things that when people search that on Google, and the more niche it is, they're going to click on it, and your website is more likely to pop up.
Especially with it being the Generation Z, they're always asking questions, and they're looking for those blogs that immediately answer their questions. They don't want to have to browse around and take their time. They want the answer as fast as they can.
Right. The next thing to do would to be adjust your meta titles and meta descriptions on the prom section to include descriptive, relevant keywords.
So if you have a prom section on your website, be sure to adjust these if possible. You really want to make sure that it's targeting all the right audiences. So you'd want to do prom flowers, corsages, boutonnieres.
Even just like if you want to have your own arrangements for promposals, stuff like that, different ways to kind of reach that audience other than just a boutonniere and a corsage.
Yeah, and to just include anything you do offer revolving around prom.
And then also in your About Us section, be sure to include the school districts you serve in your delivery area. So actually putting the names of those schools in your About Us can drive, through SEO, drive traffic to your website.
And this is really important if you think about who's looking for flowers. As you've heard us discuss many times now, promposals are very popular, especially now. And a lot of people are doing new and creative things to ask out their prom date. And that could be as simple as ordering them some flowers while setting up this big event to ask their date out. So definitely just try to include any aspect of your delivery area into it to also be available prior to prom night itself.
Right, because there's going to be people in Google typing in, like, flowers near so-and-so high school.
Or flower delivery to so-and-so high school.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we're going to shift over to the SEM strategy. And for this, we're going to specifically target AdWords campaigns. And with that being said, you really want to make sure you get specific with your keywords. You definitely can include things like flowers for promposal, or headdress, flower headdress, or body flowers, or corsages, literally anything relating to prom or prom flowers, really.
Right. And that kind of moves into that second one, include a promotion to set you apart from the competition, and you could actually be using that in your ads as well to kind of like set you, so obviously if you're offering some sort of discount, people are going to be more likely to go to your shop rather than the other ones in your location.
Also, it's important that in your ad copy to include that you're a local florist, especially this younger generation. Everyone prefers to work locally if possible. So already being a local florist does set you apart from some of the other competitors out there.
Right.
Also, if you are planning on running ads for prom, it's important to get ahead of the game, but also keep running those ads even for those late or last-minute shoppers.
Which is more often than not.
Of course, especially with teenagers.
Right. And then even though with that there are a lot of last-minute people, you have to start early. And the earlier you start, you can kind of work out the kinks with those ads so that they're running effectively by the time prom comes around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In addition, it does allow you to get your ads approved with Google without having any hiccups in the process, which does allow your ads to effectively run longer than most other competitors in your area. And with that being said, you also want to make sure you're targeting your local area as specific as possible, whether that be zip codes or cities. Just make sure you include all of that in your audience to target, or your targeted location in your ads.
The next thing we are going to go into, and probably the biggest one, arguably, is social media. So the first thing is to utilize all of the platforms. So oftentimes when you own a shop, you go really heavy into Facebook and Instagram mostly. But using Pinterest and Snapchat can really kind of help you get into different markets. With Pinterest, you can kind of post like people make their mood boards for prom, so having corsages and colors and everything else in there for that is going to kind of like help set you apart.
You also can target moms and other parents or guardians on Pinterest a lot easier than you will on most other platforms, because a lot of people are trying to get ideas for these major events, and Pinterest is one of the easiest ways to do so. So definitely don't try to slack on some of these other platforms.
Right.
And then Snapchat is just extremely huge with teenagers and with the Generation Z. So it's very important that you try to incorporate your business on those platforms as well, whether that's just behind the scenes of what's going on in the shop, whether you want to try to do some sort of promotion, or even creating a geo filter, which allows people in your area to tag your flower shop in one of their posts. Really, there's endless opportunities, and I know not everyone is super knowledgeable on those opportunities with Snapchat specifically, but definitely give it a try.
And then on all of those platforms, posting photos of your previous prom work. So it is really easy to kind of just take a photo off of your website and throw that as a post, but actually posting stuff that if maybe somebody wanted something in particular, like sunflowers or something like that, incorporating that and showing that you kind of have a uniqueness to what you're creating rather than just kind of like the canned content.
Plus, a lot of people want to see if you can do something different for them. They don't always want the classic styles. So it is important that you show that, like, listen, we're willing to work with your style and what you're looking for. here's what we've done in the past. So definitely use those to your advantage.
And then when making these posts, obviously stick with casual language, because these are social media platforms, so you don't want to kind of deviate from what they're regularly seeing. Keep the salesy away, and just kind of show what you have and like what you've done, and use it as a chance to kind of display your work rather than sell your work.
Of course, and you also, like, the best way to get people on board and engaging with your content is by making your content relatable. So find a way to make it relatable to your targeted audience, whether that be mothers or teachers, or whether it be students and other teenagers. Truly just try to stay away from the sales pitch and show them what you're capable of doing.
The next one is share other prom-related posts to engage your users. This isn't necessarily other florists, but if there's a promposal video that you thought was super cool, kind of like posting that to your page and be like, hey, make sure you stop by for your flowers for your prom, and different things, or like, hey, look, he's using this bouquet and we can make that here, and kind of engaging in different ways other than just posting the products that you create.
And that's also an excellent way of building your followers, is by providing information that is relevant to them at the right time. They're going to want to stick around and see what else you're going to be sending to their way. So they're likely to follow you and engage with your post more regularly than if you were to make a couple prom posts the day of or around the day of. So definitely be, what's the word? Blanks so hard.
And then, yeah, obviously, like, just kind of like using those, because being engaged socially is probably going to be the biggest thing for you, because you have your moms on Facebook and you have your kind of teens on the Instagram and Snapchat, and Pinterest kind of goes both ways, and just utilizing those to your advantage and kind of giving them content that they want to see. And then building off of that, you can kind of use your stories and your live videos. We said to promote body flowers, but you can really use it for just about anything that you want to promote, and just kind of showing that there's a face behind the shop, and that kind of feeds into that local idea that we were talking about earlier, showing them like what they want to see, and like a face that they can relate to what they're doing.
People really want to connect with your shop on a personal level. They don't want it to feel like it's just another business trying to take my money. Like, they want to have that connection with you, so it's important to really show yourself and show what you offer and what you can do for other people. They want to know why they should choose you, and that kind of gives you the stories and live videos gives you a chance to really explain that and show that.
And the next one we're going to go into is social media advertising. So it's actually taking the chance to run ads socially. You can do this on Instagram and Facebook. And, yeah, go ahead.
And you can do it through either boosting existing posts or even creating specific Facebook ads to target your audience. However, boosting posts does give you a little bit more freedom in choosing the demographics that you're reaching, but Facebook ads allows you to specifically target that message more accurately. So there really is two different ways. They're very similar yet very different, and it's just important to understand those differences and what's best for your shop.
And then also using those ads to share your content with target audiences. So even using a post that you've already created that you really liked and stuff like that, and kind of using that as your chance to get your name out there. So even if they're not coming to you for prom, they could be coming to you for other stuff.
Right. And then another important aspect of creating social media ads is to include your products, or include multiple products, so that people can see what you have to offer. And that could be as simple as pulling regular photos off of your website, or even providing new photos of new designs that you're working on, really just allowing people to see your work and what you can do for them.
Right, and that's where it says, like, carousel is kind of like going through several different photos, and it'll like automatically go through them. Another
newer option that you can do with Facebook specifically is creating a Facebook shop, so people can buy their flower arrangements directly from your website, or from your Facebook account, which allows them to shop without having to go through 5 different places to get to your shop. It really does just cut down and cut out the middleman.
Right. And obviously you can use that Facebook shop for more than just prom, and you can start putting different things that you've created on there, and you use your own photos, and it's set up the same way as any other like online shop would be.
And with the Facebook shop, it is important that you just understand Facebook's terms of use and make sure that you're not breaking any rules, or that you are aware of what you're allowing Facebook to use.
Mm-hmm.
So just be sure you know what you're doing when creating any of these things.
And then going beyond just digital, you can kind of connect with local schools and help promote your flower shop to students. So even if it's just bringing like a stack of flyers or doing a promotion with a certain high school in your area, and kind of utilizing that to get your name out there in a different way. And not only is that going to students, but now you have faculty and staff also looking at that as well.
And if you do decide to create those prom-themed blogs that actually answer people's questions, you can also reach out to these schools and see if they'll like maybe share your posts or your blog posts to their students, and see if you can get some people that way. Really, the best part about working with schools is just building those relationships to hopefully guide students towards your flower shop if they're looking for a place to get their flowers from.
Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is to create promotions for students and teachers. And so that's as easy as saying, like, if you have your student ID, you get 10% off your corsage or something like that. So kind of giving, and we touched on this in the the search engine marketing. It's kind of just a way to set you away from the rest of the florists in your area.
Right. And of course, when you are a student and you're trying to do everything yourself, they are looking for the cheapest option.
Right.
And you don't want them to overlook your store just because they think they can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. And then offering unique designs based on teen trends. So a huge thing right now is like the succulent corsages, and just like little things that will be like personal and won't be just like a rose on their wrist like they normally have. So kind of going and looking at like what's popular right now and having a unique twist on it and making it your own, obviously.
Yeah. And then, of course, don't limit yourself to only offering corsages or boutonnieres. As we mentioned earlier, people are looking for other ways to incorporate flowers on their body, specifically like the head pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely think outside of just corsages and boutonnieres when promoting your products.
And building off of that, there's, along with the corsages, the boutonnieres, you have like the wearable flowers as well, not just like the flower crowns. You have the necklaces, you have, or even just creating that, or just having like a way, some are doing like the faux flowers so that it's something that you can keep forever as a memory to go with prom. So just kind of thinking outside of the box in that aspect to kind of like bring it back in, and another way to like create profit other than just your normal everyday prom stuff.
Right. All right, so now we're going to move on to any questions you may have regarding anything we've discussed, or maybe something that we haven't really touched upon. All right, so as we mentioned earlier, it is important to mention that you are a local florist and that you work locally with your community. And that's part of the reason we really do advise that you try to reach out to your schools or even with different teachers and see if you can build like that partnership up locally in your community.
Yeah, definitely going local, definitely using advertising to your advantage, focusing on only the areas that you serve. So those ads kind of help reach those people that are just around where you are. Going outside of the box and kind of linking up with other schools in your area, and maybe even if you wanted to go to a different, like a dress shop or something like that, and just finding different ways to get your name out there aside from just your socials.
Right. Also, by going through schools and working with schools, they may come to you later on if there's anything they have going on that requires your attention, or you could be doing promotions based off of a partnership you have created with the school. So there is many opportunities. It's just a matter of seeking those opportunities.
anybody have any questions?
Oh, here's one. All right, so someone just asked, if you don't have a prom section, what can you do for prom? And really, because there isn't much you can do SEO-wise, you can still advertise that you do provide prom services. It's just a matter of either marketing locally online or, as I said, locally in your community, which could be anything from flyers to paper advertisements or advertisements in the school paper, anything along those lines.
And then also building off of that, creating that page, even if you just wanted to have that page on your websites until for that prom period, you can turn that on and then shut it off. And making sure that you have your own products on there and like different things. So it's not just, they're not just looking at like whatever arrangements you already have offered on your website.
Yeah, definitely try to include more of your own unique arrangements. People are always looking for something that's going to be different or set them apart from everyone else. All right. Thank you, Megan, for the insightful information. We have a few minutes to answer any questions. And as we have discussed, keep it local and keep it relevant. But if we have no more questions, we're going to end the webinar. If you have any questions for myself or Megan after the webinar, please feel free to email us at floriology@bloomnet.net. We will also receive you will also receive a questionnaire by email. If you would like a link for the complete webinar, be sure to answer the questionnaire and you will receive a link for the web. Thank you everyone for your participation. Have a great day.